Welcome back to The Abandoning, everyone. Episode 4, Season 2. Where am I today? Let's roll that intro and find out. Let's go. So welcome back, guys. Something a little bit different today from me. We're here in Explore Liverpool and we're on the grounds of what's known as the Explore cuttings. Let's give you a little run through. I'm with Greybeard Media and Mersey Urbex on this one. It's quite a historic location. I'll give you a little bit of a rundown as to what all this was all about. So the cutting was originally created as part of the first inner city public railway from Liverpool to Manchester on the Liverpool to Manchester railway network, and it was the first steam powered scheduled passenger and freight railway connecting two major cities. The cutting is also known as the Cavendish cutting or the Wapping Chatsworth Street cutting. Carved out of sandstone, it's about 40 foot deep, and it allowed trains to enter the heart of Liverpool from the east. At the western edge of the cutting, which is where we're heading to now, engineers built a striking structure known as the Moorish Arch, spanning all the tracks and flanked by engine houses, towers. These housed stationary steam engines that were used to haul the trains, initially by a rope haul goods system through the tunnels up and down the gradients. A lot of people will know this as the Wapping Tunnel, and it's about 2,030 metres long, and it made it possible for transport between goods between Liverpool docks and the inland via the rail system. A huge innovation for its time. It was often cited the world's first railway tunnel under the metropolis. But because of the early steam locomotives, it struggled with steam gradients and the system relied heavily on rope haulage. The gravity and the downward runs is what met its demise. And here we are, we're actually on the old part of the disused rail network. As you can see, there's still many features that are still in situ, but it is an incredible walkthrough. Many service trains would have come through here back in its day. So the original facility at Explore, known as the cutting, was opened in 1830 when it was the Liverpool and Manchester Railway when it launched. However, the area's role changed within a few years as plans to extend the railway deeper into Liverpool, a new underground route to more of the central area of Liverpool, which is now Liverpool Lime Street Station, was built. The tunnel was started in 1832 and was opened in 1836. But because of the extension, the original Explore station, this cutting was abandoned for passenger services, and instead, show slip. Instead, this is what is still here and remains. It is a common ground for explorers like myself to want to come and explore. But while passenger traffic shifted, the cutting and the tunnels remain important for freight, goods, movement and marshalling, especially connecting the docks and the inland routes for a long time. So if you think about it, over 200 or almost 200 years since this was first created. And it's a shame really now is to that it is disused. However, as I say, it is a common place for explorers, as it does have a lot of history. And again, it met its demise simply because of the gradients and being unable to be reliant on the rope-pulled system. But by the late 20th century, the cutting had fallen into disuse. A heritage group, the Edgehill Railway Trust, attempted to preserve this site and was looking to turn it into a rail and trail visitor centre. But ultimately, access was blocked. The railway operators needed the tracks for storage. And the trust folded, sadly, leaving this cutting, as you see it today, overgrown, derelict, and not open to the public. As you can see, what an incredible structure, steeped in history. And so you see here how nature has begun to just take over. Many elements still remain. Incredible. Incredible. I really wish, what I was saying earlier, was that the Trust were able to have put this into what they were envisioning, into a heritage and visitor centre. Sadly, in my opinion, there are too many of these vacant tunnels just left to rot. And given that they are steeped in both Liverpool and Manchester rail history, it just seems a great shame. I mean, just in the distance there, you do see it does connect down to the current Edgehill rail network, which comes through from Lime Street Station. They are actually a live rail track, so we won't be heading further down into them. I imagine, from what I've seen in other tunnels, these would have been what servicemen, when trains and the carriages were coming through, they would have used these little voids here to be able to stand out the way to allow for the carriages and the trains to come through. I would recommend that if you do come down here doing this, you do make sure you wear some good footwear and you are on your toes, should I say, in regards to trip hazards, because it is not the easiest to traverse. But let's go meet up with Greybeard and Mersey Urbex and venture a little bit more into it. So I'm back with Greybeard Media, you see there, just in the centre. How are we, mate? And Mersey Urbex just over there. This is the access known as what's the Wapping Tunnels. However, it's not accessible on this trip today because we have seen online people have visited quite recently and it is severely flooded. I would not recommend anyone to come down here to try this unless you have some kind of flotation device such as a dinghy, or if anyone is feared of water or can't swim, do not try this. But again, you can see the overall structure of how it used to be back in the day. 3 networks, and I do believe from what I've seen online is that there are structures that allowed the ventilation system from these tunnels up through into the city centre. Obviously the local vandals, as always. Incredible. Not sure what this would have been used as, but again, you can see nature is trying to take over with all them roots there. Gives it quite an eerie vibe, doesn't it? Always on a tunnel video, always find football. kind of a running joke. Wilson, you're my only friend. I mean, you can see the quite a lot of footballs down here. Significant amount, in fact. But no, I would have loved to have been able to see what this was like back in the day. I know I'm an old man now, but I'm not that old. Have a little mooch around there, see what's here. It's a shoe, some shopping trolleys, some old bikes. Wow, you can just see how time has just stood still with all of this. Just so to walk on. Yeah. Wow, that looks interesting. Let's see if we can get up there. Wow. Yeah, that goes deep down there. I don't think I'll chance that one. And same again on this other side. Not the easiest way to access it. Incredible. What do we have in here? Little makeshift fireplace, really? Fashion teapot there. Wow, just unfortunately it would benefit a complete tidy up. But again, kind of the usual thing. Money runs out, trusts fold, plans get halted. So this is quite interesting. This is one part that I completely overlooked, forgot about, and Merseyerbex just reminded me. Just up there was a programme, I think it was in the 80s, and Keith Chegwin, I believe it was, did a feature on this very cutting. And obviously now time has taken over and all the steps have eroded away, but there used to be a walkway of steps that could go down there, and he was actually featured. If I manage to find that clip, I'll overlay it here now. But again, you can just see as to how time's taken over. The sandstone just erodes away. Yeah, really interesting. This is an area we have not been through yet. Let's go. Oh yeah, so there's one more to see here. What would that have been? Some form of electronics there. A lot of bird poop. Not good to breathe in. But yeah, again, I'm not sure what these kind of areas would have been used for. There's just so many different little walkways. Let's see if we can get through here. Yeah, it just takes you on to another one. There's just something about tunnels and the rail system that has always fascinated me. And eventually, in a future episode, we are going to be coming back to go down, as I said earlier, into the actual Wapping Tunnel and to be able to get across where it's flooded. because it's supposed to be pretty spectacular down there. So I've just come across that. Would that have been some kind of etching from the old setup? Would it have been a plaque? Something had been fixed to the wall there? Who knows? So that was episode 4. Season 2 of The Abandoning. A little bit different from me today. We will be going back at some point to this location to go and head into the Wapping Tunnel. But for now, we've been at Edgehill Cutting, Wapping Tunnel. If you've liked this video, make sure you're going down there in the comments. Let us know if you've been here before. And don't forget to follow, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. And I'll catch you with the boys in the next one. Adios.